Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And today I am going to be talking about the new album from Flume, Skin. Flume is the alias for Harley Strayton. Streeton? I don't, you know me in pronunciations. Fairly new producer from Australia, only been around for a couple of years. And also, apparently, he's only 4 years older than me. That's weird. But now he's coming out with his second album. Now, his debut self-titled album, which dropped back in 2012, was very well received. People just fell head over heels for this guy, loving his unique blend of hip-hop, trap, R&B, dubstep, and more. Well, at least everyone except me, apparently. I cannot stand this guy, I'm sorry. And this isn't just a reaction to the hype. I didn't like Disclosure at first, but they've grown on me quite a lot ever since their hype wore off. But I actually find it difficult to listen to Flume. When I first heard his debut album, it really didn't do much of anything for me. And coming back to listen to it again, I enjoyed it even less than I remembered. Now, I do at least get the appeal. I can at least appreciate that the guy has his own unique style that only he can pull off. And on top of that, his debut album changed things up just enough, and had like a good sense of variety so that I never actually got bored. So at least I can definitely respect the guy, and admit that his debut is a very well-made and well-executed album. I just cannot get into his production style. His production style, more than anything, reminds me of like being carsick on a bus that's stuck in stop-and-go traffic but still in a hurry, so you get constantly jerked back and forth, and it lasts forever, and it makes me want to throw up, and... I think you get the picture? He doesn't make me angry, though, just sick. And I guess I will have to be fair, his debut album did have its moments as well. I was alright with Sleepless and its sparkly disco, and the 80s inspired Insane, and I guess tracks like Space Cadet were pretty good too. But needless to say, going into Skin, I was not looking forward to it at all. I heard a couple of tracks and thought I could hear some better melodies than last time, so that at least got my hopes up a little. I did tend to like the more melody-driven stuff on his debut, so maybe this could be more appealing to me. So, how did it turn out? Well, hey, you know how I really don't have any negative reviews on this channel? How my lowest score so far is a 5.7? All you people who wanted me to talk about more stuff that I don't like, you got what you wanted, because Skin was way, way, way worse than the debut. The thing is, the debut at least had the novelty of, like, being people's introduction to his style, and I could admire the guy's creativity, but he has made no effort to progress his style in any way. In fact, he's even gone backwards and ended up really samey sounding as well. Now, if you like his particular style, I guess that can be good for you, but I think I've made myself pretty clear on how I feel about his style. And, you know, I was really willing to give him a chance. I really was. I mean, his style is still very unique, and he's not ripping off on other artists. On top of that, there is a clear shift towards more pop-friendly material, and there's not that much atonal stuff, but I'm sorry. Every time I tried listening to this album, it was absolute torture to get through. Not only is it of the style that I don't like, but it's stuff I've already heard before, and it's really repetitive and one-note and boring and monotone. Ugh, it's just, ugh. Well, before I get too repetitive, I'll try to talk about this album from more of an individual song perspective. I guess I'll start with the stuff I was alright with, the good stuff. Well, like, the opening track, Helix, almost got me excited that I would like this album. Starting out with this slow build-up with a dark synth wash, some flutes, a passionate vocal sample, then fading in this synth arpeggio, hyping me up, but then kind of blowing it on this awkward, reversed, and bassy drop. At the very least, it got my attention. When Everything Was New was a decent enough track with this repetitive sample and some synth arpeggios here and there, and a vaguely satisfying bass pad. At no point does it fall into like any awkward sounding breakdowns, and I guess I can appreciate that. The song You Know is decent enough too, it doesn't get too annoying and has good performances from both Alan Kingdom and Raekwon the Chef. But the majority of these tracks are just kind of boring and don't really stand out much. Take the big single, Never Be Like You. If you've heard that one, you know what more than half of the album already sounds like. Actually, the sections of this particular song without the beats are decent enough. The song is kind of catchy and has some emotion involved, though the chorus is not nearly as good sounding. The same goes with the unfortunately repetitive Say It with Tovlo, and the forgettable closer, Tiny Cities with Beck. I swear, Beck used to be an interesting performer. Maybe I was just spoiled with his appearances on Air's 10,000 Hertz Legend or something. And then there's the stuff that I really didn't like Lose It. It didn't sound like it would be that bad at first, albeit sounding pretty similar to Never Be Like You. But in the drop/chorus, Vic Mensa does this stupid falsetto thing and makes that moment even more annoying than it would have been otherwise. And Smoke and Retribution, like, it has Vince Staples on it and this singer called Kuka on it, and her sections is alright, and Vince Staples' performance is good, but the production is even more jerky than usual on Vince Staples' section of the song. It just, ugh. And Take a Chance with Little Dragon, also mostly a complete dud, starting out like most of the other tracks on here, but Little Dragon's voice gets kind of grating, and I swear the production gets almost kind of screechy and Avicii-ish in the sections without her singing. Not to mention this track feels drawn out too long for its own good. Innocence with Luna George is even longer and more unnecessarily dragged out, but actually I don't mind this one as much. For one thing, Luna George is actually a better singer. I think Luna George might be more than one person, but the singing is better, and the drop, I guess, at least sounds somewhat distinctive with all these sparkly chime noises, so that one's at least tolerable. But then there's the other instrumentals, like, geez, some of these were terrible. For instance, 3 sounded promising at first, but it sounds like he just took his usual percussion and tried to record it on a laggy computer that made it impossible to get the timing right on any beat. And don't even get me started on Wallfuck, which has this vocal sample that gets grating in seconds. And the rest of the track is completely atonal and distorted and offbeat again, and it sounds like he's almost trying to make me hate it. That's about all I can muster, though. Overall, I gotta say, it's gotta take something really special for me to be disappointed at an album from an artist I didn't even like that much in the first place. I seriously thought this album sounded absolutely horrible. And whatever value I had in Flume's debut was totally lost on me here. Now, here's the thing though. I want all you watching to totally take my opinion with a grain of salt on this. I only thought Flume's debut was decent, and I know he has thousands and thousands of presumably angry fans that love him. And I think anyone who actually liked his production style will probably also like Skin. Maybe not as much, since he's not brought anything new to the table, but nevertheless, I will not be expecting most other people to have the same drastically negative thoughts that I had to this album. I don't think Flume is a bad producer, but I cannot defend this in any way. I gave him multiple chances with this. I listened to this album several times, but even the first time going in, I went into it knowing this wasn't going to be for me regardless, and I was even further let down. So yeah, needless to say, I feel like this was a complete waste of my time, and sitting down with it is only going to succeed in getting dozens and dozens of people to hate me. Oh well. But overall, yeah, I'm feeling a 3.7 out of 10. Favorite tracks, Helix, When Everything Was New, You Know, I think that's about it. Least favorite track, probably Wallfuck. But of course, this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it. Please don't take this as personal attack, as on people who actually do like Flume. It's just not my thing. But I guess I would still like to hear your thoughts, so leave the comments in the comment thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time.